Hello and welcome to Twin Tigers Data. My name's Thomas Kistner and let's get started. Today we'll be talking about specifically the Rogue. Who are they? Well, they're the greatest sneakers, the powerful killers, masters of tact, and the trap breakers. They can take the most alcohol and keep fighting if you're one of those old-time players. You already know this. However, yes, new players, they can do it better than a bard sometimes. However, it depends on what exactly they're drinking. If it's the light stuff like the wine, expect them to be doing a lot better. However, if it's the heavy stuff, expect them to be on their butts flat quickly. They're the second best at conversing and also the greatest at stealing things from people. And almost no trap can be disarmed by them if they're high enough level. What can they do at all? Well, firstly, they deal this thing called sneak attack damage. Now, what a sneak attack is if you are dealing damage that is unexpected to your opponent. Now, this can be done in one of a few ways. If the creature is within 30 feet of you, firstly. Secondly, another requirement is if you're hidden. However, this requirement can be bypassed by only attacking them while another ally is 5 feet in striking range of them. In two of their skills, they become double proficient with, and eventually it increases to 4. You learn an extra language known as Thieves' Cant. Eventually, you can dash, disengage, or hide as a bonus action instead of a regular action. Reduce the damage by half if you can see your attacker. On proficient skills, if you roll, you can take 10 instead at any time if you roll a 9 or lower. If you're not deaf, you can hear all invisible or hidden enemies perfectly as long as they are within 10 feet of you. You gain proficiency in wisdom saving throws. While conscious, you can't have advantage on attacks against you. And on change a failed check into a 20 and turn a miss into a hit once per day. Or once per rest. Either one is still the same. Now, their specializations. The Thief. This one, you gain proficiency in sleight of hand checks, use thieves' tools to unlock a trap or open a lock, or even use an object as a bonus action instead of a regular action during fights. Climbing doesn't take extra movement, and you can add your dex modifier to how many feet you can do during a running jump. Move half your movement speed and receive advantage on stealth checks. Now, this means that if you go, say, your maximum movement speed is 30 and you move 15, you get your stealth check advantage. However, if you move 20 feet, then you lose it. You get to ignore racial, class, and level requirements to use specific magical items. If you are not surprised, you can take 2 turns in the first round of combat. Once at normal, say you roll a total of 21. And the second time, you do it at a -10. So the next time would be at 11. So it'd go you, if you were first up, ally, enemy, ally, and then you. That is if 2 allies and an enemy rolled higher than 11. The Assassin. Gain proficiency in disguise checks and poisoner kits. Advantage on attack rolls to hit enemies who have not made a move yet. And also automatically crit on your enemies if you surprise them. So what this means is, if it's the first round of combat and they have not done anything yet, then you get to get advantage on attack rolls. However, you don't get a critical if they were the one who initiated combat. However, if you're the one sneaking up on them, you get to have your advantage on attack rolls and also automatically crit. Now, also, you can spend 7 days and 25 gold pieces to build yourself a second life with proper papers and history of your new life. allowing you to be nearly to let actually anybody believe that you are said person. Spend 3 hours studying a person and gain advantage on deception checks to deceive someone who is amiss about the person you are pretending to be. Hit a surprised enemy and they must make a Constitution save of a DC 8 plus your Dex modifier plus your proficiency bonus, or they receive a certain amount of poison damage, I believe. I forgot to put it in this. Anyways, the Arcane Trickster. This is the only specialization of the rogues that can cast magic, just like how the Eldritch Knight is the only specialization for the fighter that can cast magic. You learn how to cast spells, which most of them will end up being enchantments and illusions, mostly because enchantments and illusions help you escape better from fights and also allow you to deceive your enemies when you're trying to do stuff. You gain the Mage Hand, cantrip automatically. It does not count against the amount of cantrips that you have, and you can do the following with it. Stow an object the hand is holding in a container and someone else is wearing, that someone else has, or put it on an article of their body. You can retrieve an object from a person, worn or carried. Use thieves' tools to pick locks and disarm traps from a distance. Do these with a sleight of hand contested by a perception check whenever you're doing this. If you are hidden from someone and cast a spell, they gain disadvantage on any saving throws that are required. So if they say are required to make a dexterity saving throw because you're using Fireball, then they would have disadvantage. Now, I'm not certain if they do get Fireball because it's, I think, a 3rd level spell. However, I believe they can cast up to level 5 spells. Anywho, you get to use Mage Hand to distract an enemy and give you advantage on your saving throws. And if an enemy casts a spell, they must make a save, and on a fail, the spell automatically does not work. Inquisitive. These guys are actually very interesting and are inside the Xanathar's Guide to Everything. And there are a few more after this that I kind of enjoy more. When making an insight check and roll 7 or lower, you can take 8 instead, just like that ability that you get from the regular rogue, where instead of taking 9 or less, you get to take a 10. Now, bonus action perception check to see something hidden or investigate something to figure something out. Or investigation check to figure something out during combat. If you don't have disadvantage on attack rolls, you can bonus action insight check to sneak attack the target without advantage and also deal an extra 3d6 to the attack. Now, move no more than half your movement speed and gain advantage on perception and investigation checks. And you can tell if someone is trying to trick you, but not the nature of the tricking. Meaning if someone is trying to hold a secret from you, you know that they're holding the secret, but you just can't tell what. The Mastermind. Gain proficiency in disguise kits, forgery kits, and one specific gaming set immediately as soon as you gain this. Also, you can learn how to talk like someone else after listening to them for only 1 minute. Use a help action as a bonus action, and if the ally can hear or see you, you can help them from up to 30 feet away. Now, use the help Whoops, I already read that one. Spend 1 minute of interacting or observing a creature, and you get to learn if compared to your own scores and levels, whether the creature has them, and it's your DM to choose which two, compared to your own, the creature's charisma score, intelligence score, wisdom score, or possible class levels. Use your reaction to make an attack hit someone else instead of you, and deceive your thoughts and never tell the truth and never let the truth be told through magic. So if someone is casting a detect lies spell or a spell that automatically makes you tell the truth, you're able to still say, no, I didn't steal the cash. You're a rogue, of course you stole the cash. But the mage and the bounty hunter both think that you didn't steal the cash now. The Scout. If a creature is within 5 feet of you, when it ends its turn, there, without provoking attack of opportunity from anyone who's around you, you can move half of your movement speed away from them. So if a creature, meaning, and this is so then it's clarified, if an orc runs up to you and then it ends its turn there, you get the ability to immediately move, if say your maximum movement speed is 30, 15 feet away without them having the chance to attack you. Gain proficiency in nature and survival checks, and it is doubled for any ability check that involve those specific skills. So if it's not directly a nature check, however, it could be considered part of a nature check, I believe is what this is saying, you get doubled the, actually if you're doing a nature or a survival check, then essentially you get to double your wisdom modifier to the skills. That's what I believe it says. Anyways, gain 10 feet of movement speed in all ways that you can currently move. So this means if you're, say, an Aarakocra, then you can move an additional 10 feet of your flying speed on top of an additional 10 feet of your walking speed. Add advantage on initiative rolls and attack rolls on the first creature you hit every single turn. If you can do so, again, as a bonus action and use your sneak attack against an enemy, if you haven't already used it on that same enemy. The Swashbuckler. Now this one I kind of like, mostly because of the design of the design of what exactly the characters end up looking as. Anyways, if you make a melee attack, that creature cannot make any attacks of opportunity. So if you're surrounded by, say, if you have the ability to attack 3 times and you're only surrounded by 3 enemies, all 3 of those enemies now cannot attack you if you make a melee attack, if all 3 hit the opponent. Add your charisma modifier to your initiative roll, and no need for advantage on your attack rolls, allies being within 5 feet of the enemy, and don't have disadvantage on attack rolls in order to use your sneak attack. At an action, you can use deception checks on creatures who know the same language as you. If you succeed, it has disadvantage on attack rolls for 1 minute, or unless a spell hits them or they are charmed for the same conditions. Meaning, just about, if they get hit prior to them actually making a turn, then they lose the disadvantage. Now, bonus action, you can gain advantage on acrobatics and athletics checks. Once per turn, if you fail an attack roll, re-roll the attack with advantage. Now, I forgot to put this slide in like I always do. However, who do you think you want to play? Well, do you want to play a sassy character, kind of like a swashbuckler in a sense? Or would you rather be a character who's more sneaky and less killy? Then you would want to be a thief. Do you want to play a character that can deal a whole bunch of damage right out the bat? I would bet my best bet would be with the assassin or something similar. Now, please remember to like, comment, and subscribe. Hey, and if you like my terrible, no good, awful, very bad videos and want to share them, go ahead. I don't care. I'm an open book. Please remember to game safe and have fun. Adios.